Good morning, Toastmasters. What a beautiful day to start a Saturday. Welcome everyone to the District Program Quality Workshop and Toastmasters Leadership Institute as well. Today, we welcome you all to a workshop on leadership opportunities at the club and area levels. I would like to first acknowledge the presence of the District Director, Toastmaster or DTM, Gurbinder Singh Pun. Welcome, Paji. And our PQD Toastmaster DTM, Rania Aburrub. We always talk about a success plan, but rarely do we talk about a succession plan. Just like in organizations, succession plans are very critical and integral for the sustainability of the organization itself, and therefore it's a core step in the management process. And Toastmasters is an organization, and so are our clubs, our areas, and our districts. With one of the values of Toastmasters International being service, it's integral to focus on how to develop the leaders around us to become future servants of the clubs, the areas, and the districts. And today, a guru in service of at the levels of club, area, division, and district is going to present to us a workshop on the leadership opportunities at these different levels. We are privileged to have among us the past Region 11 advisor and past District 105 director, DTM Sunil Kottarathil, as the trainer of this session. So who is DTM Sunil? If we can do it today, let's do it now. That describes our immediate past Region 11 advisor, Sunil Kottarathil. More than 13 years in Toastmasters. He has served at the club level in all officer positions before leading into the area, division, and district. He has served one of the largest districts as the program quality director, paving a strong foundation for the club, area, division, and district. He has led District 105 in its first year of reformation as the district director to the world number 4 position. Wearing a smile always on his face, he finds inner happiness by involving deeply in activities that have a vision to make a positive impact around. DTM Sunil, the floor is all yours and our ears are all alert.
Thank you, MC. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my dear leaders. Ramadan Kareem and season's greetings to you all. Today, we'll talk in general about the leadership opportunities at club area level. And then we'll cover the selection procedure of leaders at club and area level. And before we begin, have you witnessed or have you seen weak clubs around you? And what makes the clubs weak? Why do we feel the clubs, those clubs are weak? Any observations? Just your thoughts. We can feel that the club is weak, but why that club is weak, if at all we feel so? What makes a club weak or not strong? What are the factors? What you believe, what you think? Right? Weak leadership, not very active, less members, quality program. There can be many reasons, but let us not go in detail to all those reasons and try to find solutions here during this workshop. But however, let us accept the fact that due to many reasons, we have some of the clubs not so strong as we wish to be in our district or around us. We can feel that, we can see them, but that's not a good sign. We want to make them strong. We want to see all clubs thriving, all members getting the full potential they want to be by utilizing the Toastmasters program effectively. We know the Toastmasters program has a lot of opportunities to develop a member's communication skills and leadership skills. A lot of our members utilize the program very effectively to enhance their communication skills. However, I feel sometimes that we are not using the program effectively to develop the leadership skills of our members. Well, in today's world, today's competitive world, the leadership skills are so important in the workplace, in your profession, or in the social gatherings, or personal life, everywhere. So are we, just ask this question to yourself, are we or our members utilizing the leadership opportunity, the skills, or the opportunity to develop leadership skills effectively at the club? The basic level, let us talk about the basic level, the club level. Of course, by attending the club meetings and participating in the club meeting, the roles, taking up the roles, we develop the communication and leadership skills, but are we utilizing it effectively? That's the question we all can ponder into. Now, what are the opportunities here for a member? From members' perspective, they can gain valuable leadership, hands-on leadership experience by participating or by effectively utilizing the Toastmasters education program. Now, being active at the club level, club leadership level, one can gain practical leadership experience while helping people learn and grow in their professions and their personal lives. And they can play an important role in the mission of Toastmasters and to be part of a greater cause by being in the leadership journey. Then you can renew your perspective, practice teamwork, and develop your capacity to translate values and strategies into productive actions. See how important these are in today's world, in our professions. That is changing, the world is changing. And the organizations, the corporates, they need capable leaders who can translate their values and strategies into productive actions. So Toastmasters is the right program, right education platform to develop these leadership skills. So ask again, are we using the program effectively to develop our leadership skills in this direction? Are we helping our members? Are we promoting it in the right way so that our members will utilize the education program to develop the leadership and become successful in their career, in their life? Now you can see the bigger picture where we are heading to. And that's what I want to focus on today's session. We need to develop more leaders at club and area level. And this is the right time. We are in April, mid of April. In next 2 months, as Toastmasters, you will see the new leaders are being elected or selected at club level, area level, division level, district level. And all of them will start the leadership journey officially from July 1st onwards for 1 year, next 1 year. So that 1 year is filled with a lot of opportunities for them. So the process has already started, or if not started, is going to start right now, so that you can make the leaders who opt to serve at the club, area, division, district level can make a big change in their life and change others' lives. So that's the opportunity we have. So decision can be made. You can make your decision today to opt for those leadership skills, utilize those leadership skills, leadership roles at club level, area level, and the district level, so that you can make a change in your life and the lives around. So let's begin. It's so important. We have seen from a member's perspective why it's important. Now, from the organization perspective, succession planning helps build the bench strength of an organization to ensure the long-term health, growth, and stability. So that is one of the answer why we are seeing weak clubs or not so strong clubs around us. Strong leadership, or rather a group of efficient leaders at the club level. That's the basic, that's the fundamental factor. So if you have more leaders, if you grow more leaders at the club level, that will ensure a long-term health, growth, and stability of the organization, Toastmasters International. Today's session will refer to these documents, which you are all familiar with. However, I would like our PQD, I would request our PQD runner to share these documents in the chat so that you all can download. It's all available in the website, Toastmasters website, for you to download. The first one, Club Leadership Handbook. All club leaders must have received them. And all members have access to these free to download from our website, Toastmasters International website, Club Leadership Handbook. And the next document is Club Constitution. Every leader at the club level should go through these two documents and understand the purpose, the vision behind the concept of the Toastmasters leadership at club level. That's very important. That's a fundamental area where we are developing leaders. So it's so important for our members to understand the leadership styles that we follow at club level. The rules, regulations, all are detailed here, the duties and the opportunities, most importantly. So by going through these documents, a club officer, even a member, understand the importance of the leadership opportunities, how we can make the maximum benefit out of the Toastmasters leadership, the roles available with us, and how to get into those roles, how to grab those opportunities. When you go to the next level, area level, then onwards, area onwards, we'll be referring to District Leadership Handbook. So again, it's available free to download from our website, toastmasters.org, and use them. Use the information given in District Leadership Handbook to make your term as an area leader effective, successful, and to serve our members in the best way you can. That's not the end. We have a lot of other information that helps you to understand the Toastmasters process in our website. Go to Leadership Center. Go to the governing documents. You can see the policy protocol at club level, district level, area, division, all. So please feel free to browse through to have answers for all your questions here. As a leader, this will help you to be more empowered, to take decisions, to take the right decision. A club will be successful, will be stronger if you have more quality leaders at the club level. Same is the case with area, division, district. Now, considering the structure of our organization, consider the basic principles of our organization, you can create and maintain an atmosphere of enjoyment, teamwork, and dedication to get the best out of the Toastmasters education program at the club level. We all know club meetings, they are the basic gathering where we gain the communication and leadership skills. So maintaining an atmosphere of enjoyment, teamwork, and dedication at the club level among the members, we can utilize the program's effective elements or elements in an effective way. So do not hesitate. Do everything. This is where we can practice what we really want to be. So at the club level, let's all try our best to develop more quality leadership. Now, what are the opportunities at club level? Let's go into details. There's specific leadership opportunities at club level, area level, and all. At the club level, the club executive committee consists of 8 officers: president, vice president education, vice president membership, vice president public relations, secretary, treasurer, and sergeant at arms, and immediate past president. Here, the first 7 officers are elected positions, whereas the immediate past president is by default. The current president becomes the immediate past president during the next term. And that's a very important role, which many of the clubs may not be utilizing effectively. The club's experience, the rich experience the club gather in a year, that's all with the club president being the CEO of the club, being the chair of all the committees. Club president has a lot of experience by running the club. By running a weak club or not so strong club, I will say the opportunities gained by the president will be tremendous, a lot. And where these opportunities go collectively, are we utilizing this experience, the rich experience, effectively to build the club more stronger in the coming years? That's where the immediate past club president role becomes very important. His advice, his counsel, his mentoring, they are so important. They're based on the experience he has, the club president, he or she, the club president has undergone during that 1 year of leadership. Now, it's not only the elected positions, the 7 office elected positions that's waiting for a member, but there are other committees also. There's an education committee under the vice president education. There's a membership committee under the vice president membership. There's a public relations committee under vice president public relations, and there is another social intersection committee under sergeant at arms. All these committees are the roles, their duties, their functions, all are listed clearly in the club constitution and club leadership handbook. So go through them and utilize these opportunities, though these are appointed or voluntarily taken up roles. It will not have any credit. However, most of the roles in Toastmasters are not for credits, but for the real rich experience that they provide. So looking at that angle, we have a lot of opportunities at club level. And each of these committee can consist of 3-4 members and focus on developing certain leadership skills, delegation, a lot of things. If you start recollecting or if you start forming these members, if you have served as a member in one of these committee effectively, you will realize its potential. So if the club is not utilizing these roles, let's make it available for the new members so that they can gain the valuable leadership skills. It's not only the 7 officers position that we are going to elect during the club officer election. It's more than that. So all these leadership roles at club level gives a lot of opportunities which can be explored and made the members' experience much valuable. Now let us look into leadership opportunities at area level. There's only one elected position at the area level, that's area director, as you all know, but it doesn't stop there. There is assistant area director, program quality, assistant area director, club growth, area secretary, 3 more roles, crucial roles at area level. And all these positions are appointed by the area director, the elected area director. So the area team consists of the area director and his assistants and the area secretary. Now, in addition to that, we have other members, the club representatives also. That will come to later. As we mentioned earlier, we know the opportunities from members' perspective and the vision from an organization perspective on the leadership style. Leadership style in Toastmasters is a bit different from what we are seeing in the organization, in the corporate world, of course, because it's a voluntary organization, a non-profit organization. Here, each of these leaders, the leadership roles, what we have seen at club level, area level, those who serve the motivation is intrinsic, or they are servant leaders. Service is the main factor. They are driven by passion. The best result is self-satisfaction. The best gain is self-satisfaction. Creativity driven. And as it is non-profit organization, no monetary benefit here. However, you get a lot more than the monetary benefit that you get from corporate to develop the basic leadership skills here and become successful in your profession and personal life. The motivation factors, many of our leaders, they have seen this, they have gained these elements in their life by serving at the club and club area and higher leadership levels. Feeling value, recognition, encouragement, growth within. That's the most important one, I would say. Self-paced. You are free to take up your leadership journey the way you want. Safe, non-critical environment, positivity. Now let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen leaders hesitant to take up leadership roles at club level or area level? Members become a little bit hesitant. We have a lot of opportunities, a lot of leadership roles available at the club level. But many clubs sometimes struggle to find leaders to fill even in that 7 elected officer roles. Why? When we are seeing a lot of opportunities here, a lot of benefit, a lot of positive elements associated with all these leadership roles. Still, have you ever seen a hesitation from our members or even our leaders in taking up the leadership roles at different levels? If yes, just raise your hands. If no, just leave as it is. I can see a few hands raised. Some of you have witnessed that or have experienced the hesitation from members or leaders in taking up the leadership roles. Why that hesitation when we have a lot of opportunities, a lot of benefits associated with these leadership roles? Why? Why members still hesitate? Is it due to lack of awareness? Or is it due to some misconception? Again, I will leave it to you. If you want to answer that, you can ponder on that and find the answers. If it is due to lack of awareness, I hope this session will help in understanding the benefits. If it is some misconception about the leadership, still I think to some extent we can discuss it here and we can make them aware, or we can encourage our members to change that misconception and take up the roles so that we will see them getting more successful, being more successful in their lives. And in turn, we'll see that our organization also is benefiting. Have you seen, let me ask you another question associated. Have you seen members have been discouraged by the leaders at club level, area level from taking up the roles? No, don't take this role this year. Let's give it to another person. Or some sort of discouragement, rather than encouraging the members to take up roles. Have you ever seen the members or leaders discouraging others from taking up the role? Why? See, all these are questions that we can ask ourselves as leaders. In fact, the reality is that there's no restriction. We are here for our members. The door is open in all directions for our members to gain the valuable opportunities to use the elements in the leadership program, Toastmasters program, in all directions, I will say. There's no limit. The only limit is set by the individual, the hesitation, or just putting up your nomination, or just expressing your interest. I want to explore the leadership skills that Toastmasters education program offers. That's the only thing. Rest everything is open for you. Once you decide yourself, once a member, even a newly joined member at a club level, decides himself that he wants to utilize the leadership skills or leadership opportunities, then 100 doors are open in front of you. And so powerful if used effectively. Even a small role is very important. We have seen in a club there are a lot of leadership opportunities. Each leadership role, each committee member, each subcommittee member plays an important role. Sometimes we do not see the importance of it. Why? Just because whatever duties are delegated to that particular team player may be done by someone else in the background. That's the only reason why sometimes we fail to see the importance of that role. or some of the members who have taken up the role, leadership role, even after not doing anything, still see the club keep going, still all the functions are happening. It's not a healthy situation. However, we all can understand being a service leadership, being a non-profit organization, people volunteer to take it up. They go, some of the leaders, they go beyond the capacity to serve the club. Why? In an ideal situation, we shall empower each individuals to do their duties, to gain the valuable leadership skills that the Toastmasters education program offers. And we have plenty of opportunities for that also. The district provides training, regular training, club officers training, which will happen, say, in another couple of months, June, July, August. That's another important when you work, the newly taken up leaders at club level can sharpen their skills. So our district will be arranging that to help the leaders to train, to encourage the leaders or to show them the right direction to gain the valuable skills that the leadership roles provides. So each and every small role, even though it looks small in appearance, even though it doesn't give any credit, it's important. It's very important in from a member's perspective and from the organization perspective. Let's go more into area directors selection process now as a second, as I mentioned. The next segment of the session, let's focus on area director selection process. Then we will go to club officer selection process also. Now, before we go to area director selection process, any questions or any quick comments will entertain, say, a couple of minutes for quick questions about the questions related to general leadership roles at club level and area level, or in general in Toastmasters. You can ask the questions by typing them out in chat box, or you can even send to, I think, to Rania, to PQ to Rania, or the Zoom master. Okay, as I'm not seeing any questions here, let us wait for the question and answer session towards the end for you to ask your doubts. Now let's move on to area director selection process. I hope most of our area directors are present here. If not, I'm sure they're so familiar with the whole process. Let us refresh them. These rules or this procedure, area director selection, election procedure, is detailed clearly in the district leadership handbook. Refer to page 89 to 91 of the district leadership handbook for detailed election process, which was shared in the chat box by our respected PQ Rania earlier. Some of the basic elements here, the area director, the current area directors, as per rules, they are eligible for re-election for one more succeeding term. However, we would prefer, as I already mentioned, more and more leaders should come forward to serve. New leaders should come forward to serve so that we all can gain those valuable leadership opportunities. This provision is only in case of any, if the situation demands. In those cases, the area directors, the current area directors can continue to be re-elected for one more term only. Now, ideally, the area directors candidates should have served as members of a district council. That means they should have an experience as a vice president education or a club president of a club, minimum. That's preferred, though it's not mandatory. Because the area director plays an important role at executive committee meeting at district level. So being an active member of district council, having served as an active member at the district council, at least or as a minimum as club vice president or club president, they can help the district in a much better way during the ExCom meetings, district ExCom meetings, and guide the district with the needs of a club. The area director election process may have already begun at some of the areas. If not, it's still not late. You may have received, all members may have received the notification from our respected district director that we must complete the area director election by 30th May. The date is set by the district. So in our district, District 105, we have selected 30th May as the date to complete the area director election. Now the process begins minimum 4 weeks prior to the election date. The election can be even, the election can be completely even now. The last date is 30th May, but let's don't wait till the last week. So we can do it much earlier if we are ready. The current area director is in charge to conduct the elections. The current area director determines the time, place of area council meeting at which the election for the area director is conducted. Now, the most important thing is area director must give a written notice for the election to each club president in the area at least 4 weeks before the election. Some of the area directors may have already given this notice in the month of March or April before. But if an area director has not given the written notice, let's do it this week so that we can conduct the election 4 weeks from now. So even if the time, date, place of the area council cannot be determined, can be finalized by the area director right now, still the written notice can be given straight away so that we can follow the timeline and others can think over it and continue the process meanwhile. So 4 weeks, we understand that the area director gives a written notice. 4 weeks later, the area director election happens. Now, what happens during these 4 weeks or once the area director gives the written notice? What happens between these two activities, the written notice and the area director election? Minimum duration is 4 weeks. So what happens during this time frame? Each club in the area, they analyze the leadership skills among the members and submit to the area director in writing their nominees for area director. So the club president receives a written notification from the area director. The club president discusses with the active members and leaders within the club, all members within the club, and submits the names of their nominees to the current area director. Of course, it's with consent of the nominee. Let's see it again, the time frame. So considering that 30th May, before 30th May, we have to complete the area director election process. Say the area director issues the notification during the month of March or April. And April, May, club presidents nominate the area director candidates. And April or May, after the 4 weeks between the two, minimum 4 weeks duration shall be the conducts the area director election. The last date is again 30th May 2022. So that's the time frame. So all clubs president or club members or the members present here, please see this. If you haven't seen a notification, if you are not made aware of this procedure, please contact your club president, contact the area director, even contact any higher officials so that your leadership opportunities are open. You have this opportunity to submit your nomination or at least express the interest to the concerned leaders. So let us don't miss that. Now, how the election happens. So once the members submit their nomination to the president or the club submit the nomination, the list of nominees to the area director, and the area director gets the list of leaders who are interested to serve as area director, then what happens? The area director says the time, date, venue of the council meeting and issues again a clear notification inviting all the members of area council member and the candidates and the nominees and all the persons who have shown interest to the meeting. The voting members of the area council, the club presidents first, club vice president education or their proxy holder, club vice president membership or proxy holder, then area director, assistant area director, program quality, assistant area director, club growth, and area secretary. These are the voting members of the area council. The candidates or the nominees who are present, they are only observant and they will step in and only when the chair of the meeting, area council meeting, as the area director, invites them for whatever vote to be present. Otherwise, they are just observant. But the voting members, the active participants of the area council meeting are the club president, the top three club officers or their proxies, and the area team, area director, assistant area directors, and area secretary. The proxy holder, the proxies are not so strict at the area council meeting. Here, if the club president is present and other two, the vice president education and membership, vice president membership are not present, the president can cast or is assumed even without holding a written proxy, the president is assumed to have the proxy for other two officers and he can cast 3 votes. He can represent the 3 voting members of the club. Same way, if the president can issue in writing or authorize any active member of the club to be his proxy. In that case, the member shall hold a proof of this authorization that he is the proxy holder of the president. Same case with the vice president education, vice president membership. They can either be present themselves or they can give their proxy to another active member. If nobody is present, then the highest ranking officer is assumed to have proxy for other 2 officers. In any case, if one member is present, one proxy holder or one officer is present, then all 3 votes for the club can be cast at the area council meeting. What's the quorum at the area council meeting? So we now know the voting members of the area council meeting: area director, assistant area directors, area secretary. So 4 members at the area team and 3 from each club. So depending on the number of the clubs And depending on whether that position was filled or not filled, the area director, the current area director can calculate the proxy. The majority of the voting area council members or the proxies constitutes a quorum. That means if there are 3 clubs and all 3 clubs have assigned president, VP education, VP membership, so 3 into 3, 9 members, 9 representation from club level and 4 from the area level. So total 4 plus 9, 13. 50% of 13. Majority is 7. So if 7 voting members are present, or the proxies, the club offices proxies are available, then the quorum is met. So it's so easy to meet the quorum at the area council meeting. So here, in this case, there are 3 clubs. Just imagine this case, 3 clubs. Each club has 3 if all the positions are filled. Now, if it is vacant, we'll see it later. That will not be counted. We'll see it later. But assuming that all 3 top club officers positions are filled, this case, 7 is the quorum. So if the area director and 2 members, imagine the area council meetings, only the area director, the club president of club number 1, and the VP education of club number 2 are present. Only 3 members are present. Will that meet the quorum? So area director is present, 1. Club number 1, the president is present, or only the president is present. So the president is assumed to carry the proxies of other 2, or he can cast 3 votes. He has 3 votes with him. So area director 1 plus the president 3, club number 1 is president 3, 4. Club number 2, VP education, the highest ranking officer present, assumed to hold the proxy of other 2 officers. So 3, so 4 plus 3, 7. So even with just 2, 1 president, 1 VP education from 2 different clubs and the area director, the quorum is met. So this is how the area director can calculate the quorum and see whether the quorum is met, and the area director procedures during the area council meeting can continue or not. If the quorum is not met, of course, should not continue the procedures because it will not have any legal validity. Now, if one position is not filled, is vacant, the club officers list, the election was not happened, or the member has, it's not filled at all. Sometimes we see in some of the clubs, all 7 officers' roles are not filled. Some of the officer roles remain vacant. If either the president, VP education, or VP membership role is vacant, remain as vacant in the club officers list, the system, then that should not be counted. That club will, if one role is vacant, that means the club will have only 2 votes. So current area director will have access to the system. The clubs will have access to the system. They all can see it from the system, whether it's vacant or filled by some of the active members. So this is how the proxies or the quorum is calculated, and the proxies are identified. In the election process, once all these are set, once it's established that the quorum is present and the proceedings, the council meetings can continue, then first the area director places the names of candidates from the clubs in nomination at the election. He must have received the names from the clubs. So he places the names, he declares to the area council meeting that I have received the nomination for area director from the following members, A, B, C, D. Once it's completed, he can even accept the nominations from floor. That means a candidate who has not expressed the interest to serve as area director till that moment can stand up from the floor and say that I'm interested to take up the area director position. So once all the nominations are closed, including the floor nominations, then the election procedure starts. If there's only one candidate, he's declared as elected, and the election procedure is completed. If there are more candidates, then each candidate will be given an opportunity to speak for 2 minutes. So the names of the nominees or the candidates will be listed according to the alphabetical order of the candidate's last name. And they'll be called by the chairman, the director, to deliver the 2-minute speeches. Now, if a candidate is not present, still, he can ask his representative to give the speech. So it's not important that the candidate is present at the area council meeting. He just has to be consent. He has to show his consent that he is willing to serve as an area director and fill the officer's agreement form, signed officer's agreement form. Now, each area council member in attendance or proxy voter is entitled to 1 vote. We already seen how the votes are being, the voting members, we know that now. Now, no area council member or proxy holder can cast more than 3 votes, and only the club officers have the right to carry the proxies. That means a club president, as we have seen, a club president, if he's the only person present, only member present at the council meeting, he can cast 3 votes by representing the other 2 club officers. So maximum 3 votes. And if area director is a president, he also can cast maximum up to 3 votes only. He can also act as the club proxy holder. Now, if there is a tie after the voting, of course, it's the majority that decides the winner. Now, if there is a tie, then the area director can cast 1 additional vote. He may have already cast his vote earlier during the election process. However, if the tally shows a tie, the area director can break the tie by casting an additional vote, 1 additional vote. Hope that's clear. The election process is clear. Now, all this election, all the ballots or the casting of votes is done through secret ballot. So if it's a physical meeting, we can give the ballot sheet. The director can prepare a ballot sheet and distribute among the voting members 1 ballot sheet per vote to all the members and collect the secret ballot. It's only 1 vote for 1 position. So it's simple. Collect and then tally and declare the outcome. If there's a tie, cast an additional vote and break the tie and declare the winner. So that completes the election process. But if there are more candidates and there's no majority, nobody gets a majority, then we should continue the election process. Say there are 5 candidates. 5 candidates, nobody gets the majority. In that case, what happens is the one who gets the lowest majority will be removed from the list and the election continues with the other 4. Again, in the 4, if nobody gets the majority of votes, then again the one who gets the lowest number of votes is removed from the list. The voting process continues till we get a majority, till one candidate gets a majority and is elected as the winner by the chairman. this completes the election process. The area council meeting, if there is any other agenda items, can continue. Finally, after the area council meeting, the area director submits the result, the winner name, to the future area director, the elected area director for the next term, to the district director. And he shall submit the officers agreement, the signed officers agreement form also to the district director, so that the district director can submit these details toward headquarters. So that completes the election process for area director. If you have any questions, note it down and we'll handle it during the question answer session later. Now quickly going through the club officers election procedure. Similar to the area director election procedure we have talked about, we have discussed about. Here, it's not for one position, it's for 7 officer positions. Now, let's see the timeline first. Many of the clubs may have already initiated that. However, as per the rules, as per the club officers handbook, election shall be conducted during the first meeting in May. So just if you are a club officer, see when your first meeting in May is scheduled, and please keep the election as the agenda as the main item during your first meeting in May. Now, as we have seen in the area director election, there's a timeline. We have to do certain activities before the election date. 4 weeks prior to the area director election, the area director has to give a written notice to all the presidents. Same way here, we have few preparations to be made before conducting the election, club officers election, during the first meeting in May. At least 2 weeks before the meeting, the club shall form a club leadership committee. So there are certain activities that we should do prior to the election date. It's not mandatory, but this is the procedure. We'll come to the next slide. But let me just give you some fundamental, basics, some of the basic points. Let us reinforce that. A club must have minimum of 3 officers: the president, a vice president, and the secretary. So when we are electing the club officers, let's ensure at least 3 officers are elected: the president, the vice president, and the secretary, because they hold important position to run the club, even in the minimum standards. So 3 officers a must. Other 4 officers, if the club can complete the election good, or please complete the officer selection process at the earliest. Now, each of these 3 officers must be held by a different person. These are the rules. So we have to meet these rules. So one president, another individual as a vice president, another individual as the secretary. So 3 leadership roles to be filled as a must. Now, members may run for more than one office. Means these 3 shall be held by different members. However, they can hold other offices also if there is no members willing to stand for those roles. These are the minimum requirements, of course. As I mentioned earlier, our duty as leaders is to develop more leaders. We want to see the club filled with 7 different members, active members, and all of them utilizing the roles for the growth of the leadership skills. This is what we really want. However, still we can see a lot of clubs that struggles in different areas, different perspectives around us. So we know the practical difficulties. That's why the minimum requirements are set, are mentioned very clearly in the rule books. During the election, the club is required to have a quorum present, similar to the area election we have mentioned earlier. During the club election that we are going to conduct in the first meeting in May, we must have a quorum present. The quorum is again more than 50% of the active members of the club in attendance. So you all know the active, the number, the active members count in a club. The dashboard shows it all, and the club officers have that access to the club central. They can download, they can see the active members. Now, if a club has 30 active members, the quorum will be 50% is 15 plus 1. So 16 is the quorum. So 16 members shall be present. If the club has 30 active members, paid members, the list, then to conduct the election during the first meeting in May, ensure that at least 16 members are present. Now, if the club has 9 active members, then 50% is 4.5. The next, round it off to the next higher digit, 5. So 5 is the quorum requirement. So if the club has 9 active members to conduct the election, club officers election, the first meeting in May, at least 5 members shall be present. So that's how the quorum is calculated. Now, as many of the clubs still continues to meet online, hybrid, again, the quorum present, the online meeting or hybrid meeting is same. Ensure the quorum is present. Once the quorum is present, to cast the votes, you can use any convenient online tool. It can be even email message, but the member shall be present during the meeting, the online meeting, and can submit the vote for each position, the chat or poll or message, private message or email as conveniently set by the chairman who is conducting the election. As the club president, because the club president is the chairman for every club meeting. He chairs the meeting even during the election. Just that those general rules are clear. Now let us see again the timeline. So as we mentioned, the first activity to start a club officer election is to appoint a club leadership committee. The club president appoints a club leadership committee consisting of minimum 3 members in good standing. And the chairman of this club leadership committee will be immediate past president. The club leadership committee. And when this club leadership committee shall be appointed? At least 2 weeks prior to the meeting where we are conducting the club office selection. That first meeting in May, 2 weeks this side, at least minimum 2 weeks. Prior to that meeting, the club president appoints a club leadership committee consisting of 3 members, and one of them will be immediate past president who will chair the committee. Now, this can be even done much earlier. 2 weeks is the minimum period. Ideally, I will say it's a best practice to form this committee in the month of March itself. So March or April, club president appoints a club leadership committee. And the immediate past president is the chair, and 2 more active members will be there in this committee. This committee, after appointment, they will start working on finding the leaders who can serve as club officers from president to sergeant at arms, 7 officer positions. So 7 officer positions are listed, and the eligible candidates who consent themselves, who are willing to serve for that position, are contacted, and actually each and every active member of the club is contacted by the leadership committee, club leadership committee, and their willingness to serve in one of these club officers' position is recorded, noted, and the club leadership committee prepares the report. Now, this report should be submitted during the last meeting in April. That means before the one meeting, before the meeting where we are conducting the elections. If the club leadership committee was not formed or didn't submit the report, then all positions are open, and during the election, again we'll be holding the election on during the first meeting in May, as per rule. However, as there are no nominations report submitted by the leadership committee, all positions will be invited from floor by the chairman, by the club president during the club election. Now, there's a typical format officially issued by Toastmasters International. You can download that from the website. So I request our PQD Rania to share that form, the club leadership committee report form, the chat box. So the immediate past president, who is the chairman of the club leadership committee, can use this format to submit the report to the club president or during the last meeting in April, or one meeting prior to the meeting where we will be conducting the club officers election. Now, during the meeting, as I mentioned, the club president chairs the meeting and conducts or oversees all the proceedings. He chairs the club meetings where the elections is conducted. So all the election procedures are run by the club president as the chairman. The immediate past president's role completes with the submission of the club leadership committee report in the last meeting in April. So how the procedure, how the club president, the chairman, conducts the election. Let's see that also, the steps. First, the chairman accepts nominations for the office of president. He must have received the report. All members have seen the report from the immediate past president as the chairman of the club leadership committee during the last meeting in April. So that's the reference. So first, the president's position. The chairman accepts the nominations for the office of president. That means he reads out the report, the names of the members, active members who are consented to serve as the club president for the next term from the list or the report provided by the club leadership committee during the last meeting in April. So if there is 1, 2, 3, 4 members who have shown their willingness to serve as club president, the chairman accepts nominations and reads out the list or the names against the role of club president. Now, any member may second the nomination and give a short speech. The candidate can give a short speech, the other members can give a short speech. And each time, the chairman asks the nominee if they would accept the position if elected. Of course, this was confirmed by the club leadership committee earlier. They must have received the consent from the members before placing their name in the committee report. However, the chairman reconfirms that during the proceedings, election proceedings. Now, once the speeches, 2-minute speeches are over, that means the nominated candidates by the club leadership committee completes their speeches one after other according to the alphabetical order, last name. Once that is completed, then the president or the chairman asks the members whether there are additional nominations for the office of president. So any member, any active member can come forward at the last moment and express his interest, even though he has not informed the club leadership committee earlier. He can come forward during the election when called upon by the chairman and express his interest. Yes, I am also interested in serving as the club president during the next term. So once the nominated candidates' speeches are over, the additional 4 nominations are invited by the chairman, and they also complete the 2-minute speeches. Now we have all the candidates, including the nominated candidate and the 4 candidates, completed their speeches, 2-minute speeches. Now the voting starts. And before the voting starts, the president, the chairman, following the parliamentary procedures, entertain a motion to close the nominations for the office of the president. A motion is one of the members, active members, will present the motion to be seconded. The motion will be closed. Then the voting will start for the office of president. All this again, like similar to the area director election, what we discussed, this also will be through secret ballot. You can use any form, email, chat, poll, or any form to cast the vote. It will be secret ballot. There will be 2 members assisting the chairman, the club president, to count the ballots. It can be the secretary, it can be another active member. They will be counting the votes and they'll be tallying the votes. And the winner's name will be, the votes tally will be given to the chairman, and the chairman, the club president, announce the winner. That completes the procedure for club president election. Now, same procedure is continued for vice president education, vice president membership, and so forth, till all the 7 officers are elected. And as I mentioned earlier, at least ensure that 3 officers are elected during this meeting conducted with the first meeting in May, as president, by one of the vice presidents and secretary. This is again reinforcing on the fact that we have seen a lot of clubs struggling around us. Considering all the practical difficulties, we know it may not be easy for some of the clubs who are struggling with the leadership, club leaderships, lack of leadership or members, lack of members within the club. It may not be practically feasible for them to elect all the 7 officers, but even those clubs, please ensure that at least 3 officers are elected. That's the minimum requirement. Now, the strong clubs, which has 20 members or more in membership level, strong in membership level, ensure that we are developing more leaders. There are more leaders coming forward to serve at each level. Let me ask you one question again. Have you seen a trend or a mindset that having more than one nomination for a position or two members showing interest for the club president is considered, or it is not is considered as something wrong. We should have only one. We should not have election. Have you seen these type of thoughts? I've seen in your club or at any level. When there's election, how is the election? How is the mindset towards the election? Is it considered as healthy process, or is it considered as unhealthy if there is competition? Raise your hands if you feel or if you've seen it's unhealthy to have more members for one position. So, okay, I can see some of the hands raised, some of the members have raised their hands. See, in my point of view, in my personal views, I always encourage the members to come forward. We should not restrict to a single member, single nomination. A club or any level, I will say, is healthier or stronger if we can find more leaders for each position. That shows that we are developing more leaders, more capable leaders for that, more qualified leaders for that position. So where there is a healthy atmosphere, the teamwork and helping each other, or service leadership is promoted, the more members are encouraged to come forward and take up the role. That's a good sign, that's a healthy sign on my personal views. So more and more members coming forward to take up each officer role, club officer role, or any role. That shows that we are in the right direction. We are developing more leaders, or we're living to the tagline of Toastmasters International, where leaders are made. So that concludes the election process for at the club level. So we have covered, to summarize, we have covered in today's session, in general, the leadership styles or the opportunities at club level and area level, its benefit, advantage, why we should promote the leadership, or why we should promote the leaders, the members, among the members of our clubs to take up more and more leadership roles, to grab these opportunities for their benefit and the organization's benefit. That was the first part. Second part, we covered the area director election process. And third part, we covered the club officers election process. Now the floor is open for questions. Let me stop sharing the slide here so that I can see if there's any questions. Type down the chat.
I think I'll help you with the questions because they're coming to me.
Good.
Are you ready?
Thank you, Ren.
A lot of good questions I have for you.
Wonderful.
All right. Now, the first question I have here, it says how to motivate members to take up roles. Now, many members, they get their DTM and they disappear. Is there a process to motivate the distinguished Toastmasters to continue supporting the clubs, other than not, being there to mentor and support in the leadership role? This is a very common trend. This is one of the questions from one of the area directors. If you can highlight that, please.
Good. So we have more DTMs disappearing Toastmasters. So, see, as I mentioned, at the club level, this is where we have to focus on developing the leaders. If you are successful in developing more leaders at club level, then we are successful at all levels. because the magic happens at the club level. This is what I believe in. The magic really happens at the club level. But many of our members are not aware, or they cannot see the magic happen. First and foremost, I will say the case for each club is different. Why that magic is not visible at each club is different. So understanding those issues are very important. So at the club level, by conducting a member survey, we can understand what's the real issues. Is it lack of awareness? Sometimes it can be lack of awareness that a new members, they may not be knowing at all that the benefits of these club leadership roles. They may be knowing only when the club president announced, yes, we have our club office election during the first meeting in May. So if this is the case, lack of awareness is the case, then I will say utilize each club meetings in the month of March and April. Give 2 minutes to spread the awareness of benefits of Toastmasters leadership roles among the members, especially the new members, so that they will be encouraged to take up these roles. You can include the president's speech. During this president's speech, spend 2 minutes on benefits of Toastmasters leadership. That's one. Second, live by example. The current officers live by example. Utilize the program's benefits maximum. The president shows the president's role can be used for the benefit of developing the leadership skills. Secretary, treasurer, everyone has opportunities. It's not just approaching the members to collect the membership dues. Each and every opportunity the club officer interact with the members, including the new members, is an opportunity to promote and encourage the leadership level at club, leadership roles at the club level. So start the good practices. We can see the results, not overnight, but along the line, we'll see how the club's atmosphere changes, how the club, the magic start appearing in the club or visible in the club, and the members start using the benefits of Toastmasters leadership roles.
Thank you, Sunil. The other question is here. I think you've answered it in the session. Can the appointed area director positions vote in the area elections? The answer, I think you answered that is already yes. Correct? The assistant, I mean, area
Yes,
director.
of course. Yeah.
And can they appoint a proxy on their behalf? That's the other question.
No, the area team, yeah, the area director, as the area directors, area secretary, they have no proxies.
They have no proxies. So they have to be present in person, otherwise they cannot, their vote is out. Okay, thank you so much.
True, yeah.
The other question here, should proxies be allowed in online elections?
No. Online elections, there is no proxies. Or
No proxies.
because everyone can attend online, so no proxies are allowed.
Okay. Another question from one of the division directors, because now we go into alignment process, and the deadline, as announced, the email is going to be sent by the district director. The elections need to be finalized by May 30th. What about the districts that will be aligned? They might not be able to meet the deadline. What is the process in this regard?
Still, we can issue the notice, we can continue the process. All this can happen. If there's a realignment, if there's a major change in the realignment, we still have time to conduct the elections between the district DTAC, between the DTAC and May 30th. We still have time.
But
so
it has
depending on, it has to be completed by 30th May. Okay. So plan everything now itself, do all the preparation works as mentioned in the rule books. And if you are not sure, or if you anticipate a major change in the realignment, you can set the date for election after the DTAC, but before the DTAC.
And so there's still 2 weeks to prepare for that, because the elections are on the 14th of May. So we have until the end of May. So there's sufficient time. All right. Another question here, does the proxy holder in club elections or even area council elections need to be a paid member?
Of course.
And need to be, of course, and of course, do they have to be a member of the club in an area
Yes.
council? Okay. So they cannot assign a proxy to another member from a different club in the area.
Each club, the club president, vice president education, or the vice president membership can assign proxy only to another active member in that club.
And one question here, you mentioned that if the club president is present, then he or she can vote on behalf of the VP education via membership. The others do not need to give that the president a proxy, right?
No need, but only if they're absent.
And they're absent, okay.
If
so, I mean,
if the VP education or membership is present during the area council meeting, then president cannot vote on their behalf.
Oh, yes. How about, let's say, the president and the VM membership are absent. So can the VPE vote on their behalf as well, without a proxy?
The highest ranking officer present can vote for other two.
Oh, excellent. All right. Okay, can members run from the floor at the area elections without informing the area director that they intend to run?
Of course, but at least he has to inform the intent when the area director asks for the floor nominations.
But the question is, what if they haven't informed and they just came into the elections and they said, I want to run for the area director position? Is it allowed?
It's allowed. As per rules, they are not banned. However, see, it's better to send the request or to the area director, because in that case,
but nothing against
it. Nothing against it. At least the area director can invite the member, give the Zoom link. If it is an online Zoom meeting, then he can give the link. Because the area director will be informing only the council members and the nominated candidates about the details. So it's better that any interested member willing to serve as area director inform the current area director to collect the details, to get the details, meeting link or the venue. It's a good practice.
Thank you so much. Now, another interesting question. Now, we see a trend that some members who want to run for area elections, they also compete in contests and they try their luck. If they don't win in the contest, then they run for area elections and they might block the chance for other members who really want to serve in leadership. How to deal with this?
Can be taken in two aspects. One, that a member decides in advance that I want to serve as area director or I want to take up this position and focus on that leadership journey. The advantage of this approach is that he gets the maximum benefit out of the role. Preparation is also includes the role. It's not that July 1st you start the office and your experience starts from July 1st. The experience you gain to run for, starts from the day, the moment you express your interest to run the office, or even you decide yourself that I want to run for this office, I want to take a bigger director position. That time onwards, ideally, to get the best out of the role, you should be focused on that one. In that case, I can ensure that the member gets the maximum benefit out of that. In that case, forget about all other speech contest or they're not. Okay, the rule says simple. The rule says a member, once he expressed the interest to run for an office, a district officer position, area director and higher, is not eligible to compete in speech contest. That's the rule. Now, if he's, as you mentioned, if he continues to, or he or she continues to take part in the speech contest, and once further moving forward is stopped, or others win the race, the speech contest, then only he changes his mind and express the interest. It's allowed. There is nothing stops that from, as per the rule book, it's allowed. But again, I will say, to get the maximum benefit, focus on that. You are on a leadership journey. Decide yourself. Winning or losing is not everything. You may win in speech contest, you may lose in speech contest. You may win in area director election, you may lose in area director election. It doesn't matter. But you are on that leadership journey. Your mind is set in that leadership journey. You want to get maximum benefit out of it. That's where you should be focusing on. So even if you lose the area director election, suppose there are 4 candidates for area director, and one wins, only one can win. Other 3 can take up the assistant area director roles or secretary role. This will be the best scenario, let's say. So that's why I mentioned earlier, not to see this as a game or as a, this is parliamentary procedure. We follow parliamentary procedures and we follow teamwork. There's no unhealthy competition here. If at all we have any misconception of unhealthy competition in any of the elections where there are more than one candidates, that mindset should be changed. It should be a healthy competition where the team, the candidates, join hands together even after election for the betterment of the system, betterment of the unit.
Question here, can the area director candidates campaign for themselves, like sending emails to the area council members, like what happens at the district level? That's an interesting question.
It's allowed. They can campaign.
They can campaign, okay. Again, twice, like in the area, there are no rules, I guess.
No, there is no rules.
There are no rules
as such. Yeah.
And
feel free to promote yourself.
Yeah, could promote themselves. Okay. And is there a formal form, a proxy form for the area director elections, like what we have at the district level?
There is no formal proxy form. It's in writing. It can be in any form. Email. As I mentioned, there is no strict rules regarding proxy there. Even the president is can cast 2 other votes if they are absent. So it's not very strict. But have a proof. It's always better to have proof by email or in any form.
Any form. But they cannot say he called me and he said yes, he accepts, or he gave me a proxy. It has to be written, because I've seen this before.
If,
you know?
Yes,
they
if a member, the area director, he doesn't know. A member or a member is present at the area council meeting and says that I'm the proxy holder for this particular club. I have 3 votes. He should show a proof.
Yeah.
So carry a proof if the member is present and no officer is present. If 3 officers, is clear, because 3 officers, the area director is familiar, they are conducting the area council meeting regularly, they know each other, there's no separate introduction required, but for a member, carry the proxy form from the respective club officer.
Here, another interesting question. Can, as the same as in the club officer's role, can the area director position be held in 2 years consecutively? Like for this area director runs again for next year for the position, is it allowed?
Is the same area director continues for 1 more term?
Yeah.
Yes, it's as per rule, it's allowed. Maximum 1 more term only.
Maximum 1 more term. Okay. And also for the officers, I mean, only 1 term as well. This is another question just popped up now.
True. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned.
However, it's better to see for the president, as I mentioned earlier, the president is not healthy to continue again as a president, because we need the immediate past president also. He's also one of the executive member of the club, the 8th position. So it's better to have a new president for the club.
All right. Now, you mentioned also in the process that in case of a tie at the area elections, that the area director will break the tie. How about in the club elections? Can the president, who's the chair, break the tie?
No, the president has only 1 vote as any other member, and he will cast only 1 vote. If there is a tie, or if there's no majority, then the election repeats, it continues till we get a majority.
So we'll continue the elections until there's a majority. So
Exactly.
the president does not break the tie. All right. Another question here. Okay. Now you mentioned that that we have to have this leadership committee. What if the club doesn't form a leadership committee?
Then all officers will be run from floor.
On the floor.
there is no leadership committee formed, or at least 2 weeks prior to the election date, first meeting in May, no leadership committee formed, no report was submitted. Whatever is the case, the leadership committee is not formed. That's one case. Leadership committee is formed, but they haven't submitted a report. Another case, in all these cases, all members can run from floor during the election date, the first meeting in May.
And also, it was mentioned that the head of or the chair of the leadership committee has to be the immediate past president. What if the immediate past president is not available or hasn't renewed? What is the process?
In that case, consider a past president or a senior leader to act as the chairman for leadership committee.
Now, another question as well. Now, sometimes the IPP is available, but the current president doesn't want the IPP to be the chair. So how to deal with this?
It's again, it goes back to the basic, what we really want to see is the unhealthy competitions or ego or whatsoever, the negative emotions, they should not affect the club proceedings. See, one of the best opportunity in Toastmasters leadership at any level, club level or area or district or any level, is conflict management. When two individuals meet, there will be conflict. You may like him, you may not like him. Sometimes it's personal, sometimes it's on certain aspects, certain viewpoint, but conflict is inevitable. We get an opportunity as leaders to resolve conflict or manage conflict. I don't say resolve conflict. Conflict may not be able to resolve the conflict completely, but we can manage the conflict. An opportunity to manage the conflict, that's one of the best opportunity, and you are not losing anything. It's not your workplace where you have a conflict and you lose the job. It's not a personal, it's not personal life, professional life, or where you can lose a lot of things. But here, you can only gain by managing the conflict, by even experimenting how to manage the conflict. That itself is an experience, a valuable experience to gain from that. So why, even if you don't like the middle past president, my request to the presidents will be, why don't try? It's just for a month, and you are not interfering in the middle past president's activities at all. He's appointed as a chairman. He has his duties. Let him do his duty for 1 month, 2 weeks, or 1 month by contacting all the members and submitting a report, listing the nomination for each office, and take it further from there. You are the chairman anyway. You're CEO of the club. You're the chairman of the. So there's nothing to lose. So the club president doesn't need to hesitate in even taking an opportunity to appoint a person he doesn't like, the immediate past president, as the chairman of the club leadership committee. However, in very rare occasions where the club leadership, the immediate past president of the club is not available, or if the conflict is too high or whatsoever, depending on the situation of the club can even appoint a senior leader as the chairman of the leadership committee.
Thank you so much. I have a few questions because we have to wrap up now. Let's say the president hasn't renewed. Okay, so now the VPE can go to the area council or the elections and vote on behalf of only the VP membership, because the president vote is not considered, or would it be considered if the president is not in good standing? He hasn't renewed, let's say, so he's not in good standing on the day of the elections. And let's say the VPE is there. So would he be representing the president and the VP membership, or only 2 votes because the president is not in good standing?
Even if the president is not in good standing, the role is filled. It's not vacant, it's filled. So he can cast on behalf of the president and the VP membership, or whoever is absent.
All right.
Only if the position is vacant, then that is removed, that count is removed completely from the voting list.
which means that, like, say, for example, when vacant means that it hasn't been filled in the beginning or the president has resigned?
It's not filled from the beginning.
From the beginning, okay. So even if they resigned, it's still
simple. Download the club officers list from the system. If it's filled in the system, you can say vote shall be counted for that particular position.
Okay. And another question here as well, or many questions are popping up now. Let's say here. Okay, just let me go there. As many of them are repeated. Give me a minute. Just a second. You mentioned, how can the area director hold 3 votes?
3 votes? Okay.
Yeah.
If the area director is a club, say he's a president also of one of the clubs.
Okay.
So he has 3 votes of the club, but he cannot cast 4 votes. Area director plus 3 votes of the club. Maximum 3 votes only he can cast.
Can you use for voting purposes? Can you use voice note or voice vote? Sorry.
It should be secret ballot. So use chat, or even if you're using voice note, send the voice note separately to the chairman or the assigned officer, assigned member, tally counter, or whoever, the secretary or someone who is counting the votes.
And can the club leadership committee consist of non-club members?
No, active members of the club. The immediate past president as a chair and 2 active members of the club.
Let me see if I missed some questions. Okay, because there are many coming in. I think you answered that. If the club officer can run, the area director can run for the position again. Okay, there is another question here. I mean, would there be some like protocols, because some members, they just vote and go and win the elections, but there's no more control of the elections, for example. How can you ensure the qualified person are elected, like interviewing them or something like that? Like the same thing that as we do in the district level positions. How can you elevate the quality? Because members just go in and vote and they run for the position, and sometimes they just disappear after that.
You mean for area director election?
Area election, even the club officers. I mean, I know some clubs, they interview the candidates. I know that. I've seen some examples, but it's not a general practice.
Yeah, the club officer election.
If the team I can basically come up with a system.
Okay, the answer is when we go to higher levels, we have more stringent criteria to select the leaders. At the lower levels, a club, we are more flexible. Area, we are more flexible. So at the club, we have introduced the leadership committee, club leadership committee, and it's open how to select the candidates, how to nominate the candidates for each of the officer position is up to the club leadership committee. Interviews or anything can be done by the club leadership committee to select the leaders or nominate the leaders. However, fraud candidates are entertained, even if they fail in the interview by club leadership committee. The members can stand from floor to the last moment. So it's more flexible. Area director election, it's more open to anyone. There is no leadership committee or any body that interviews the members. Even the members can come forward at the last moment and submit the nomination from the floor. However, we say it's better to have the area director candidate served as a district council member earlier as vice president. It's better for the districts. The advantage will be that his experience at the club level, at the higher positions in club level, PP education and or president, and being active or seen the district council meeting, active person of district council meeting, those experience can be really valuable as an area director to help the district. So this is why those conditions are listed. So otherwise, we are more flexible. So you can see, rather than restriction, I would say restrict less, empower more. Let's build more leaders.
Thank you so much. I think our time is up. You already exceeded the time, but thank you so much for your valuable time and enriching our knowledge. Now, dear members, thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning in Ramadan. It's not easy to see. I wasn't expecting 60 or 70 people in the room, but you deserve a big round of applause. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm and learn how to enrich new leaders within yourself, within your clubs, and within your areas. We're going to share the recording. It's going to be uploaded on the district YouTube channel. I see the PRM is here. He's smiling, so he's going to do that. And we'll share some documents as well. There are two links that I'll also share with you. There are two good videos on the TMI website on how to run the elections at the club level. Very short videos, 10 minutes. We'll share those. And also the frequently asked questions on club elections. Check this out on the TMI website. We'll also share that as well as the presentation. And we cannot go without expressing our vote of thanks to our leader and our presenter, DTM Sunil, and also the members from the district who basically helped in having this a successful event. So let me share my slide, if I may. And here we go. Just a token of appreciation. I think my slide is, can you see my screen? I think it's.
No, Rania.
Okay, can you share the slides from your side, Ramaswamy? Because I think my screen has, I don't know, for some reason has frozen.
Yeah, done it.
Okay, so first slide, we'd like to thank, because I cannot see the slides for some reason. It's going to be DTM Sunil Kottarathil. Thank you so much for your time and for enriching our knowledge on basically how to conduct area and club elections. Thank you so much for that. And then of our okay, DTM Zara Shaito, thank you so much for being our MC today and for opening the session last minute. And next in line, we'd like to thank Toastmaster Arnold Massey for basically being the designer for the posters and the flyer and the certificates. Next in line is our Zoom master, Toastmaster Ramaswamy. Thank you so much for taking up the role and for handling the meeting so efficiently. And lastly, we have, of course, our logistic manager who's not able to join us today. She's in Mumbai, but she's been integral in basically having arrangement for the session. Toastmaster Chichita, thank you so much. Wherever you are, we appreciate your efforts. And thank you again, district leaders, for your time. If you have any questions, you can all share to me privately or the PQD team. Thanks to DTM Gurbinder, district leaders, and until we meet again. So wishing you successful area and club elections. Let's all abide by our guidelines: integrity, service, excellence. This is basically the core guidelines. I mean, if you abide by those, things will go smoothly. Just remember our core values and things will be in place. That's my mantra. Thank you again, and adios until we see you again. Ram, you can stop the recording.